5 lessons from 18 years of mortgage brokering. Hey, I'm Scott Peckford. This is Out of Mortgage Brokering Podcast, and this is our short tactical podcast that I do every week. And today I'm going to jump into a topic. I was talking to my son, and I decided I was going to record this podcast to share with him the 5 things that I've learned from 18 years of being in the mortgage business. And hopefully you find this helpful. Before I jump into that, I want to give a shout out to our title sponsor, Finmo. Finmo is a Canadian mortgage application, document collection, submission platform designed specifically for Canadian borrowers. It's very easy for borrowers to use. It's got cool features like smart docs. So as they fill out the app, it knows what documents they need. It's got smart submission notes, which means as they get the app complete and you go to hit send to a lender, it pulls key data. And it's connected to Lender Spotlight, which is the best tool for searching rates and guidelines. Over 8,000 rates and guidelines the last time I checked. Check them out at lendesk.com/Finmo. And the best thing to do is just get a demo, get them to show you. Once you see it, you'll be like, holy snap, this is really good. All right, let's jump into it. So what have I learned from 18 years of mortgage brokering? I started in 2006, spent about 8 to 10 years as a broker. And then I spent 6 years focused solely on coaching mortgage brokers that were making a minimum of $100K a year and showing them how to go to 200 or 300. And then over the last 3 years, I started a brokerage, which initially was for rookies. That's now turned into a full service brokerage for experienced agents. We have more experienced agents than rookies now. And so I thought I would record this podcast, a short episode to talk about the 5 main things that I didn't know when I started. And I think it hopefully will be helpful for you. So the very first thing is that this business is all about sales and marketing. And you may think, oh, I like real estate, I like people. Those things are all great. But if you don't understand sales and marketing, you're going to struggle in this business because that is what it's all about. And I define marketing as getting attention. And I'm going to talk a bit more about that. And I define sales as getting a conversion, convincing someone to work with you. And there's actually 3 sales you need to make as a mortgage broker. And so the thing that people miss when they get into the mortgage business is they don't realize it's a sales business. They think that, oh, my friends are going to want to use me because they like me. It doesn't work that way. You have to get into sales. And the first guy that I worked with who hired me, he had told me, hey man, I don't think you're going to make it in this business. I've met you and I think this is a bad idea. And he was actually right because my mindset around sales was absolutely trash. And there was no chance I was going to sell anybody on anything because I hadn't sold myself yet. And so it's really important to think about, and I can prove this beyond the shadow of a doubt, why I think sales and marketing is actually the most important is because if you think about any lender, they have people at their institution that know their products way better than you ever will. I don't care how good you are. You're not going to know the Scotia products like the top Scotia underwriter, like my Matt Cook, a friend of mine who did 1,600 mortgages in a year. He knows his products better than you. And here's the thing though, but you as a mortgage, the reason Scotiabank will pay you for the mortgage is because you can go into the nooks and crannies of every community and build relationships and get them customers. And nothing against, we love Scotia, we love our lender partners. If they didn't need to pay us, they wouldn't. They would literally, we are an expense line for them. But the fact that we can go find them business is why we get paid. And if you look at the pay scale of what the most you can make, it's the highest amount of money. It's the hardest thing to do is pure marketing play. The next is sales. Then you get into underwriting and all the other support services. And the top salespeople make, and I would say for most of you listening, don't even try to make it a marketing play. Marketing is where the big money's at. So if you look at Rate Hub, James Laird, I met him recently. One of the founders of Rate Hub is a massive website that basically drives, I think, 11 million visitors a month to their website. And he sold it for millions and millions of dollars because it was a pure marketing play. It was, hey, we got traffic and smart people know how to monetize that traffic. Most people listening to this don't even play that game. You're not going to have the money or the technical chops. So just say, okay, the marketing piece is I'm going to market myself as my brand, my individual, but I'm not going to try to build a pure marketing business. What you need to do is just become I just did a podcast last week that I'll go check out. I said how to become the most famous mortgage broker in your community. Do that. That's marketing to become well known. And then sales, the way I define sales is back to conversion. And the 3 sales you need to make are you need to sell the referral source, you need to sell the client and the lender. So there's 3 sales and this is interesting is that if you don't know how to sell the referral source, then you're going to stay in what I call the friend zone. I've coached mortgage brokers there's one mortgage broker I'm thinking of. So he's been a broker. His neighbor was a realtor. They'd known each other for 5 years. Their kids played together in the backyard all the time. And they great friends. Never got a single referral from her. Ended up, I coached him through our coaching program. I showed him how to have a business conversation that led it from, hey, we like each other. Now let's do business together. Here's your pain points. Here's how I solve them. Let's work together. He got 2 referrals within a week after that and did tons of business with her. And so he went from, just think about this. What did it cost him by being in the friend zone with that realtor for years? Because he did not know how to have a sales conversation. So the first is referral sources. The second is the client. And so this I discovered when we first started doing this brokerage. We initially trained rookies and we were great at getting leads. But I remember, keep in mind, I only trained people that were making a minimum of 100 grand a year. They knew how to convert clients, most of them. They just didn't know how to get them. So we didn't have to worry. If I showed you how to get clients, if you're doing 150 grand a year, you could convert them. You'd make 200,000-300,000 a year. So, but what happened is that we discovered is that these rookies would go out and get clients, but they get referrals, but they wouldn't know how to convert the client. And if you can't convert the client, you're screwed, because what's going to happen is you're going to lose the client, right? So you're going to get referrals. Let's say it's a realtor or financial planner. They send you a client, but you don't know how to do a proper discovery call. You don't know how to do a proper strategy call and how to like build some tension so that they stay with you over for the entire transaction. They're going to leave. And then they're going to go back to the referral source and say, hey, Scott doesn't know what he's doing. Why is he working with me? And then you're going to lose the referral source, and then you're going to lose your confidence, which is going to be the worst. And so that's why it's really important, and why at our brokerage anyway, we do discovery call training, strategy call training, because it is critical. And if you can get everything else right and not get that right, you're not going to make any money. Then the final sale is actually to the lender. And you may be thinking, you don't need to sell to lenders, do you? Yes, you absolutely do. The thing about lenders is that two brokers can send the same file to the same lender, and one of them is going to get a yes and one of them is going to get a no. And no, one of them is not committing fraud and making documents. It's that one of them has a better relationship. Whenever you need an exception done, whenever you need a favor, they like, even though this business, there's a box that they work within, there's stuff that kind of fits. And they're like, it's a bit of a judgment call, because if it was binary, if underwriting was 1 + 1 is always 2, they would use software. They would have no people. There would be no people to talk to. It would all be done through software. That is not what happens. What happens is that people have to make a judgment call. Their judgment call is going to be biased based on if they like you. I'm always shocked when I go into my I Love Mortgage Brokering Facebook group and I see somebody tearing a strip out of a lender saying how much they suck. And I'm like, you are literally shooting yourself in both feet. That lender has people that are in there. They're looking at that. They're screenshotting that and saying, this person, don't work with them anymore. Like, or you are like, so if you miss that, you could nail the referral sources, nail the client for sale, and then you're not going to get any loans approved. You're like, wow, this business sucks. And it's like, no, you just didn't realize you needed to make 3 sales. So the third sale is to your lender. The money is in getting clients, right? That's what we get paid for, but you do need to learn the 3 sales. So that's the first thing I learned in 18 years of mortgage brokering. The second thing is that which is counterintuitive, which is focus small to grow big. You know, a lot of mortgage brokers think they need to be like, I'm going to do everything. I'm going to do commercial. I'm going to do residential. I'm going to do second mortgages, private mortgages. I'm going to do all this stuff. And what happens is you don't stand out. You're not going to actually attract any clients. And it's really difficult to get good at that. The best brokers I know that do the most volume, actually all of their clients look the same, whether they're all A, all B. They literally, it's like they work with a small number of lender partners. All their clients kind of fit in within the same bucket. They get really efficient. They got great relationships with those lenders. They get approvals and they make way more money. And so I did a podcast that just dropped. You can go back and listen to that one. I talked 4 reasons why you need to focus on a niche, and go have a listen to that one. There's four reasons, plus there's 3 different ways you can think about a niche. It doesn't have to just be a referral source. There's other ways that niches work. And so I would go check that out. So the second thing is focus small to grow big. And for most of you, you'd be better off you're probably going too wide. Go narrow with your focus to start, and you'll grow a big business. You can get to 6 figures easy in one niche. You can even get as high as 7 figures in a niche in the mortgage space if you just got really good at that one. So the first is this business is all about sales and marketing. The second, focus small to grow big. The third, you need to have daily prospecting activities. I got to give a hat tip to my friend Angad Singh. I chatted with him today, and he said, I have my daily IPAs. I'm like, IPAs? You drink beer every day? I mean, not that I'm judging. And he's like, no, my income producing activities. Every day I have these IPAs, and I look at the end of the week, how many did I do? And I was like, dude, I've never heard that before. Maybe somebody else has said it. I heard it from him, so I got to give him the shout out for it. But I love this idea of whatever you want to call it, you must be daily prospecting. It's shocking to me how many people get into this business and they think that all of a sudden you hang your shingle, all your friends and neighbors are going to call you to do a mortgage. They're not at all. In fact, like this is something we coach our rookies on. We're like, reach out to everybody if you've got 300 friends on Facebook or 600, reach out to all of them and tell them what you're doing. And we recommend using a video that you drop into their DMs, because it doesn't matter if they even reply to it. Something like, hey, it's putting mortgage hat, just let you know I'm in the mortgage business. If you got any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you. If you have anything to do with rates or renewals, otherwise have a great day. You may feel like that's a bit salesy. Here's the thing. If you don't do that, which some of you listening aren't going to do it, and 6 months from now, somebody's going to reach out to you, or they're going to bump into you. They go, oh my gosh, I didn't even know you're a mortgage broker. I just redid my mortgage. I totally would have used you. And it's literally, we're talking thousands and thousands of dollars that are lost because brokers, they don't want to prospect. And so you need to do daily prospecting. I'll do a podcast coming up on there's 8 to 10 activities that you can do consistently for prospecting for IPA. And I'll do a show on that free soon, but not today. So that's the third thing. The fourth is you need to track your deals and pay attention to your numbers. Like we're supposed to be numbers people, but it's shocking to me how many mortgage brokers don't actually know their numbers if you actually dug into it. And I look at our brokerage and I'm always looking at the numbers I'm playing. If I make one adjustment here, look at the outcome that can make, or if I make this adjustment. And so the 4 things that you need to pay attention to as a mortgage broker is leads. So how many leads are you getting, where they're coming from? Applications. So how many of those leads turn into applications? Some of the leads are garbage, right? Let's be honest. And how many of those applications become approvals? So that goes back to how good are you at selling the lender and putting that file together? And then how many fundings? So that's going to closing. So those 4 things, I don't care if you're brand spanking new, you should be paying attention to leads, applications, approvals, and fundings. And you basically want to start on the front end, drive the lead count up as high as you can. Right. And you're going to optimize from the front to the back. So you're going to optimize, get lots of leads. Okay, great. Lots of leads will be turned into some applications, then approvals and fundings, then get better at getting the application that comes in the discovery call, then get better at getting the approvals, and then get better at getting the fundings. The other 2 things, if you wanted to get bonus points that I would encourage you to track, are inbound and outbound referrals. And so we already talked about tracking the leads, but outbound referrals, and I got this from my friend Wally, who's one of the smartest mortgage brokers I know. He tracks outbound referrals more because he's like, if I give away tons of referrals, my business is going to grow. And his business, like, go back and listen to the podcast with him. It's unbelievable. In the US, when the market shifted from a refi market to purchase, the purchases went away. Most mortgage brokers' volume dropped off a cliff. Wally's went up every year, and it went up because he built a business that wasn't reliant just on real estate agents, and he did it because he built a system around creating outbound referrals that generates inbound referrals for him. So you can't do that if you don't track it. There's a great concept: whatever gets measured gets managed. They've done studies on this. If you start weighing, like this is an example, you start weighing yourself every day, even if you change nothing. You don't say, I'm not going to go on a diet, I'm not going to exercise. Just getting on the scale every day, you'll get lighter because you're actually paying attention to it. Your business, if you track your leads, applications, approvals, and fundings, will get better just by tracking it. Even if I said, don't do anything with it, just write it down. You'd be like, Scott, 6 months later, my business is doing better. Now, I would encourage you to do more than that, but at least measuring is a good way to improve it. And now the 5th thing, and this would be like, Scott, some of you are going to be like, shouldn't this be the first thing? It's not. The last is to know your products and your competitors' products. Yes, the mortgage business is technical sales. So if you think about it, if you're selling these, sophisticated computer systems, if you want to use that as a metaphor, you got to understand how they work. And if you can't, how do you sell something that you can't understand? Doesn't mean like the top mortgage brokers, most of them don't actually do the underwriting anymore. They have somebody that helps them or the processing, but you do need to understand the technical nuance of it. Jim Tralucas is probably one of the best at this that I know. He is a master at knowing his products, but he's also a master at knowing his bank competitor products, and he can find weaknesses in them all the time. And in these conversations, the trick is I don't need to convince you that mine is better. I just got to create some doubt in you that this might not be the best solution. Doubt is a powerful thing. So if you can create doubt in that person because they're like, I didn't know that. Or if you start sharing things about your competitor's product that the competitor didn't share, it's like, well, why didn't they tell me that? And now all of a sudden they're like, well, how come my bank's rep didn't tell me any of this stuff? It's because it makes them go, it builds more trust for you and you'll close more mortgages. So products, absolutely need to know them. But it is, for me, it'll be on the bottom end of this in terms of the activities, because if you're really no good at products, if you have the great support, mentoring support, whatever that is, then you can still win at the mortgage business. So hopefully this has been helpful. This is 18 years of mortgage brokering crammed into just looks like 14 minutes. Thanks for listening. If you have an idea for a show, shoot me an email, scott@mortgagebrokering.com. And as I always say, there's no problem in your mortgage business that you can't solve. The problem is who's already got the answer that you can copy. Enjoy and make it an outstanding day.